Hey guys, Jessica here. So today let's talk about what do you do if you have a whole pile of pumps and none of them are working. This is a really complicated situation. We see this a lot in wearable pump paperweight prevention. We have a mom who comes in and says, I'm so frustrated. I've seen 8, 9, 10, a dozen pumps on her list of things that she's purchased. And she's like, none of them are working. What do I purchase next? The answer is typically nothing. We need to figure out why this pile of pumps is not working. And that answer goes over about as well as a ton of bricks. Because moms often do not like to hear that they may be the problem. And the reality is there are a lot of crappy pumps out there. I don't I don't pretend that there are not a lot of crappy pumps out there. And if you have very unique needs for your body and you buy a dozen pumps, all of which don't meet your needs, then yes, the answer could be you actually needed this pump so we can sell that dozen pumps that you've been using, buy this pump, and that's going to magically solve it. But in order to figure out what that magic pump is going to be, if the pump in a new pump is the answer, we need to figure out why did those first 12 pumps fail? So when moms come into our group and they ask this question, like, what do I do next? What do I buy next? Our answer is, hold on, before we go telling you to spend, even a cheap pump is at least $100. Before we go spending $100, let's go through, let's check that flange fit, let's check that bra fit, let's check your breastfeeding situation. Is there a reason for us to be concerned about something other than the pump? Because the pump can just be the canary in the coal mine. It can just be that thing that is telling us that there's a problem because maybe the hormones are not supporting. Maybe we have a baby that appears to be latching well, or everybody's told you things are good, but things are not actually good. We have a supply issue and nobody has the right data on this baby. We can typically detect that as you start giving us the answers. We start to hear those red flags in the baby's history that we're like, that typically is a baby who's not thriving as well as we think and has pediatricians and LCs and care team that is kind of normalizing lower than average growth. And therefore, mom could actually have a supply issue. But then when we add the pump doesn't lie. So you could be using a dozen pumps. They could be performing optimally for your milk supply. Your milk supply is low, but no one's actually like giving you that data. So it looks like it's a pump issue and it's not. We don't want to see moms buy a dozen pumps and have them not work. Even though you can resell pumps, and it is a really common practice, you still will lose money. So if you go and you buy a pump and then you have to resell it, you will lose some amount of money. So we don't take that lightly. All of us on our team either are pumping moms currently or we're pumping moms. We understand the time that you're spending on this. We understand the expenses that go into this. Pumping is not cheap. Pumping is not easy. We don't want to see you just continue to throw good money at a problem if we don't even know what the problem is. If we go through that pile of a dozen pumps, sort out what may have failed. If 6 of them have the same suction pattern and if you responded the same way, we can go ahead and rule out that suction pattern as something that's likely to fail. Before we do that, we need to check all those other things that could be going wrong to make sure that the answer is not, hey, you just needed to buy this $10 insert to get this better sizing, and then you need to use this strategy to teach your body to respond to it. At the end of the day, our goal is not to frustrate you or to make you feel bad if you've bought a pile of a dozen pumps and they're not working. Our goal is never to make you feel bad about that. It happens. Given the abysmal state of lactation care, given the abysmal state of pumping education out there, there's very few programs that actually function by teaching you how to pump. My Genuine Lactation On Demand program is one of the few that actually deep dives into what it takes to pump and doesn't just give you a 30-minute gloss over on what it takes. Most of them are not giving you solid information, and therefore you end up lining pump companies' pockets instead of meeting your breastfeeding goals. We focus on what is it going to take to make this equipment work to help meet your goals. So if you're having issues with this pile of pumps, please do not assume that it's the pile of pumps. Let us sort out, let us figure out what is going on because more pumps may not be the answer to your situation. And if a new pump is not going to address the situation, there is no point in buying it. Uh, Hopefully that helps explain like why we start asking all these questions. It's not to pick on you. It's not to make you feel bad. Even if you're doing everything wrong with this pile of dozen pumps, you can be doing everything wrong. And if we identify everything that's going wrong and teach you how to do it correctly, there's a chance that that pile of a dozen pumps, maybe you've got an awesome pump collection and your problems are about to be solved just by fixing a few simple things. We never rule that out because that's actually what we see most commonly is that if you've bought, especially if it's a pile of pumps that we actually see good results with, we may not have a pump problem. We may have a how the pump is used problem, and those are typically the easiest, fastest, and cheapest to fix compared to buying new equipment. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy pumping and good luck out there.